The explosive fourth season of Paramount Network's Emmy-nominated series Yellowstone is now available on DVD and Blu-ray. The Western epic starring Kevin Costner is back for more danger, suspense, as revenge drives the Dutton legacy.
Oh, Kevin.
The DVD and Blu-ray comes with all 10 episodes, plus over 4 hours of special features, including the making of featurettes, behind-the-scenes clips, never-before-seen interviews with the cast and crew, and so much more. Wow. Own Yellowstone Season 4, DVD and Blu-ray now from Paramount Network and Paramount Home Entertainment. Wow. And if you watch the Pepper Stewart Show long enough, you will have an opportunity to win a copy.
Really?
Get it today.
Right now.
What is going on, people? Who's here? We're all here. Everyone's here. Papers are flying off. I don't know what's going on. We got a big show for you today. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. You had the Global Cup. Team USA won that. Then you had the American. And the biggest story coming from that deal is the Iceman picking up $2.1 million because he went in as a qualifier. No one else won their event that was a qualifier, so he takes all the money. So all the people on the internet complaining about why they didn't split the money up between other people do not know the rules of the event. So
well, and that's just
Google it.
That is just the fans. They're fans. That's what they are. They're not enthusiasts. They don't know the background. They don't know everything. Everything goes into it. So they're just thinking, hey, this professional athlete that's already made almost $1 million,
right,
competing, right? Yeah, he just won 2.1 million. So why didn't they split up like they did a couple years ago? But it's not the case. He went through all the qualifiers.
Right.
He went to all the events and just won his events. And all those other people all had the same opportunity, but they took the invites instead of trying to compete their way up.
Yeah. And that's what happened the last couple of years when the money got split, is because more than one person won.
Right.
There it is, split. Now, I know it's 2022. I know we're in Biden's America, and it's all about handouts and spreading it around, but that's not how it works at the American. So
they all got participation trophies, though, because they all did get jackets that said
contestant
on it.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a that's a trophy.
That's a 2022 thing. Right.
There you go.
Everyone gets a prize
Nowadays. Yep.
They do. What else is going on? We got 1883. Those of you that enjoyed 1883 since over. A couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to visit with Eric Nelson, that played Ennis on the show, who was like me, also killed off. I visited with him, so we're gonna do a little rebroadcast of that for you, so you guys can hear that. We've got Jarrod Birmingham, the musician. We're going to talk to him a little bit later. Play one of his tunes for you guys. We got that. Everybody's wanting to know what's going to happen since 1883 is done, and there's not going to be a second season of 1883. So we have a little clip from Taylor Sheridan. It's going to fill you guys in on what is happening.
1884.
No, they're going to go further than that. They're going to skip a few decades, a few.
Fair enough.
You know that 99, skip a few, 100, something like that. However that goes. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to skip. So he's going to tell you about that. He's got some other plans in the works for some other shows. Seem interesting. So we'll get to that. We got somebody stole a box out of a truck. That's pretty funny. Or not. I don't know.
Depends on how you look at it.
Yes.
Definitely trying to get ahead of the race there, aren't they?
They were. You want to be on top. You got to be ahead. Don't be behind. We got some crazy stories, as we always do. A movie trailer, I think, or maybe not.
What?
I think we do.
A movie
I think
trailer?
we don't. I think we do, but we had the wrong names on the sheet. I just caught that.
We're so prepared here.
We'll talk to those guys, see what happens. So, other than that, I got to get into. I got a funny story to tell you.
Okay, what do you got?
All right. So, back in the old days, okay.
Now, how old are we going?
We're talking 8-9 years ago.
Fair enough.
We're going to go back before Facebook Live. Back before Twitter. Twitter was new. Periscope hadn't started yet. So
barely started.
Live streaming was a pipe dream.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
There was none of that. There was no live streaming. Social media was still a baby. That was happening.
There was no such thing as influencers either.
No, there was not.
No influencers.
None of that. And so what happened back then, 2012, I guess it was, there was a little old show right down the road that started called Texas Ranch and Rodeo Weekly. And it was a talk show that streamed live around the world interactively where the viewers could comment on the show. They could call in the show. And the show talked about upcoming events, promoted a lot of events, upcoming events and things. If there was a rodeo coming up around Texas or whatever, they promoted that. A ranch event, they promoted that. There was stock contractors. There's stock contractors on there, farmers, ranchers, people running for office in Texas in the farming realm. They were on the show. So a lot of that stuff happened. And the only way to watch it was you got on a computer, you logged in, you went to a website, and you watched the stream. And then beside it,
That's such a novel idea.
And it's so crazy to think that it was that long ago. And so on this show called Texas Ranch and Rodeo Weekly, that aired every Monday.
Who's the host of this thing?
There was some guy named Pepper, something or another.
No.
Yeah.
What's the odds of having the same name?
That's crazy. That's what I thought too.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like copycat. And so when that show was going on, the invention of the American happened.
Yep. 9 years ago.
Yep. And
Yeah,
so
10 years ago. 9?
8, probably about 8.
8?
So on that show, you had lots of stuff for the American. Every week, you had different athletes on the show that would come on and promote that. Then you had the Rough Stock? There was another association called the Rough Stock something or another.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of it. But those guys would have people on every week. And that was the go-to place for your rodeo news. There wasn't these athletes weren't out there tweeting and live streaming their stuff because that was not what they did. So what would happen is the folks would come to the show to promote their stuff. They would come on and have their athletes on. If there's any breaking news, they were on. If RFD had a special about the American, they'd reach out to that guy Pepper, and he would be on there with them to discuss stuff. And then there was this one guy, I don't want to say his name because he don't need any publicity, but he said that the Texas Ranch Rodeo was not considered real media because he didn't get asked to talk about the thing. So I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That's what happens. But anyway, so that's what happened. And the interview styles of that show are different, and that's what people enjoyed because it's not the norm.
No.
It's not the same old stuff. And people have learned over the years that you don't send a list of questions to be asked because that's not how we roll.
No. And I tell you what, and I've said this more than once, I wear 33, 36 Wranglers.
Pants?
Yep.
Okay.
It takes a lot of ass to fill them jeans. So there's plenty of room to be kissing because I could care less about questions because if they want to send somebody, they can send them to the other networks
Yeah.
that cover just as many people, if not more, have a great fan base, and they can ask those hard-hitting questions that they ask everybody in there
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
We're going to ask them what we want to ask them. I'm going to ask somebody what I want to know about them.
Right.
Because if I want to know about them, I'm sure there's a few hundred
Yeah.
thousand people out there probably want to know the same question.
Yes, and that's what people liked about coming on the show, and being on that show was the fact that it wasn't the norm.
Right.
You didn't get somebody on the show and read them their stats.
So let me guess. Did you win $1 million last year rodeoing? Because it says here you did, but I'm supposed to ask you.
Yeah.
And it says act surprised.
Yeah.
Wow, you did.
Yeah, and we don't do that, and we've never done that. So anyway, that's the way the show's been for years. Now, fast forward up to today's times, Facebook Live, Twitter's not live anymore.
World
but
of
you guys
social
know.
media.
Yeah,
It's
social media's
everywhere,
happened.
right?
So
Yeah.
now they can do their own. People realized what the show Texas Ranch Rodeo was doing, realized what they were doing, and they copied it on a lot of different stations that you had to pay to watch. They copied the format because the host of that show was ridiculous. Nobody wanted that guy. So they made their own show with their own people and started doing the same thing. And little by little, things kind of moved around. And that's where we're at today as the show morphed into what people know as the Pepper Stewart Show. And the Pepper Stewart Show is more of a Tonight Show for the rural lifestyle. If you want your rodeo 24/7, your farm 24/7, you can go to pepperstewart.com, click on links, and there's all that stuff right there. You can read all you want to about that. That's not what we're doing. That's not what's happening anymore. We have morphed into more stuff, more topics, more wide range of things, because you can go on your phone and Google all the stuff you need to Google about the rodeo or the farm or whatever. So that's why we bring you different stuff. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, we did an interview on here, didn't follow the protocol. They got butt hurt, and
Well, that's one way.
yeah.
Is he going to be censored on that one, or you
No.
didn't beep him? Did you?
nope.
We need a time delay.
And so it went nuts. Well, then the funny thing was, which is I got a kick out of this. I went on Twitter Spaces because Twitter Spaces is fun. So I get on there some other night and just talk whatever. Well, there was another media guy that was listening in and conversating on there too. And he was at an event over the weekend and decided to go ask them about it. And so I just imagine how that went over. But I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, I guess he'd be like, "Who? What?"
They're like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah, it was funny. But anyway, the show it is what it is. You like it or you don't. You send your people. You don't send your people. We don't care either way.
We're
just here for
fun.
a good time. We're not here for a long time. We're just here for a good time.
If we can't make you laugh, there's some serious issues there. That's all I can say. But you're right. On like the stats, if these people follow these athletes the way they follow them, they're on all their social media, so they already see the little thing they put up there about, hey, I'm going to be here, here, and here, and here this week, and catch me here and here and here, and this is how great my ride was last night, and this is what I did yesterday, and this is what I had for breakfast, and this was my workout. So they're not watching us to hear the same thing that they've already read on social media. They're watching us to see what we're going to ask them, what oddball questions. And for oddly enough, you're always asking people what color underwear they wear, which catches me off guard every time. I don't know why.
That was Tex. That was Tex.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I think you put him up to it.
Probably.
But still, they're not calling us. Whoa, hold on. What's that? Breaking news.
Where?
Yeah, breaking news.
What?
Breaking news.
Okay.
That's a first.
Following some breaking news, Sky 9 over the 210 freeway where there is a cow right there on the freeway. Take a look there. You can see all of those white trucks right behind it, trying to guide the cow and keep other cars from hitting it. This is, I'm hearing near Lakeview Terrace. And as we watch, we can see that cow's not moving too fast. It's not clear at this point where the cow has come from, if there is a farm nearby that it escaped from. But certainly slowing down the roadway there for all those drivers who might be getting a little impatient. The cow's going as fast as it can right now, which is about 3 miles per hour. And they are certainly going to escort this cow to make sure that it is able to get off of the freeway safely. We certainly want to make sure that happens. This might be someone's, little family farm animal, just out for a little run, a little trot out there on the freeway. Maybe had somewhere to go. It's hard to say, but certainly slowing things down for folks. But we're hoping that it will not slow people down too much. We're kind of coming down to the end there where hopefully that cow will be escorted off of the roadway and back over to the side. You can see that driver of that truck has the door open. Perhaps they're going to try to jump out and corral the cow now. But, it might be a little frightening for the animal. It's now taking off, picking up speed here, going the opposite direction, heading towards other cars. And we see someone else who's trying to stop the cow from getting back into the traffic there. But fortunately, most of the cars are going very slow in this area. And it looks like someone else is going to try to jump out and try to help. But, if you don't really know much about cattle or cows, you might be in a little trouble there trying to stop it. But it looks like they are still trying to, another vehicle here trying to lead the cow over to the side, but it's still making its way up that on-ramp or off-ramp, I should say. And just out for a little stroll, which, it doesn't seem like it's very serious, but, these cows are large animals and can certainly cause quite a bit of damage to anyone inside a car that would hit this cow. We can see there now that it is exit 9. Again, we're hoping that people will be getting off of the 210 rather slowly. We can see it looks like at least one cruiser there. No, it's just some trucks hopefully slowing traffic down as they get off of the 210. so that no one hits this cow. That could be really, really devastating because of the size of the animal. It certainly could cause a lot of damage, and certainly the cow could be really tragically hurt. But we're watching as it's picking up speed, and another truck trying to block it in. This cow pretty smart here, getting around all of these vehicles, and we even see the driver of that truck, the large truck there, trying to, maybe thinking, maybe I should get out and help, but it really is a tough call. If you don't know how to handle a cow, you probably don't want to get out and try to help too much. But again, this cow's still making its way up the off-ramp. It looked like it was exit 9, and the worst thing possible would be for the cow to actually get back on the 210, and unfortunately, that's what's happening now, and you just hope that everyone's slowing down.
Well, that's our update from our affiliate there in Los Angeles. We'll bring you guys back if there's more breaking news on the runaway cow or the bovine on the move, however we want to put it there.
The moo cow on the move.
Moving on down the highway. I wonder how many fines it's going to get for going the wrong direction on the interstate. That's
Probably going to get a moving violation.
a moving violation. Okay. Yeah. Anywho. So talking about California. So what's one of the main things in California that we deal with all the time?
They made gasoline vehicles illegal, I thought. Didn't that happen at some point? By a certain year?
I think by 2030 or something?
Something like that. So we did a deep dive into the electric vehicle market.
Yep.
Because everybody's talking about that electric vehicles, and don't go drill for oil because you're killing the environment. So we can't do that. But before we get into this electric car thing,
Yep.
something funny that I stumbled upon is the idiocracy of the American people. And you're like, what? Not all American people. I'm talking about probably mostly the young American people that push all this grain stuff and EPA regulations and blah, blah, blah. Like, look, we're not going to drill for oil in America because you're killing the environment. Climate change, whatever nonsense they're running with. It's killing the climate. So we can't drill for oil in here. So America, we stop drilling for oil. And everybody's like, oh, yay, the climate, blah, blah. Okay, here's the deal. The oil we're getting is coming from another country that is drilling for oil in the same climate. So just because it's not drilling in your little bubble of America you live in, it's still being drilled on the earth in the same climate. So...
Well, they don't want to ruin the environment, and it's bad to have oil wells everywhere, which once they get through tapping and they re-put everything back to how it was before, and then you just see just a little pump station there, they rather see miles and miles and miles of windmills.
Yeah.
Which if you haven't drove
Have you been
across part of California,
I've been to San Angelo and seen lots of them.
Texas, Panhandle, all these places, it's cool at night because you can't see nothing anyways, but a bunch of blinking red lights everywhere. But let's be honest with you, it sucks during the day because there used to these great plateaus and everything, and now there's just windmills everywhere. But that's just my personal opinion.
Windmills all over the place. So we found the top 10, so I did a deep dive to the top 10 electric vehicles on the market for all of you that want to get electric cars. I looked up electric trucks. Most of that's not available yet. It's all hearsay, so we went with stuff that was here. So I'm going to run down through these top 10. Your number 1, I guess they're going number on by the cheapest.
Cheapest and the smallest first.
So you got a Mini Cooper that you can get for $29,900, say $30,000, and you're going to charge it. And once you charge it, you're going to go the maximum of 110 miles.
1010. So, and then, so the filling up prices, it's okay. You buy an electric car, it just doesn't run by itself. So, which is oddly, they still have to pay to fill it up. It's either gasoline, diesel, or electricity, right?
Right.
So you're going to go spend $29,900, not including tax, any of the upgrades. So you might have the roll down windows. Was it like the 280 air conditioner? No. 2 windows down, 80 miles an hour to get.
Yeah, right. That's what you're going to get. And then also, something that they don't tell you when you're buying an electric vehicle is, when you register your vehicle and you get a window sticker to register your car, truck, whatever, $30, whatever. For an electric vehicle, it's like $500 because you're not buying gas, So there's no gas tax. So your registration is a lot more because you're not buying gas.
Yep. Plus, then you got to spend the $3,500 to have the electric unit put in your house,
Yep.
right? If not, you're going to be stranded once you hit 110 miles,
And then hope the power doesn't go out.
right? So that's what, $3,500.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom side to fill up, so we went with the price for the bottom side. So the smallest car, $11 for one charge, which would go 110 miles. So basically, you're paying 10 cents a mile to drive that car now,
Right.
which sounds great, but you still got to pay all that money.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So what's the next one in line there?
You can get the Chevrolet. The Chevrolet Bolt is $31,000, and you get to go a max of 259 miles.
About $25 to fill up that we're estimating, and you get about 9 cents to the mile.
Or you can go to the Nissan Leaf, which is about 32,000, and you get, which is a really wide range here, from 149 to 226 miles.
Yeah, but I guess that's because of the weather, right? So if it's hot or really cold, you get horrible mileage. If ultimate weather, perfect conditions, you're going to get
Good
226.
So you can go with the Chevrolet Bolt EUV, which is, I guess, a utility vehicle. You get about 250 miles for 33,000.
Now, though, we're stepping up sizes now. So
Yeah.
we're going from the small, we're going to the SUV. So now it's going to cost you about $22 to $45 to fill it up to go the 230 miles.
Yeah. Then you can get fancy with the Honda Kona Electric, which is about 38,000, and you get about 250 miles.
So you get more bells and whistles, and it's costing you more to fill it up, and you're still not getting very far.
Tesla, you get a Tesla Model 3 for 39,000. You get about 260 miles.
Which is the cheapest of the Tesla models, and that would be considered what, the Yugo of the cars, I guess, right?
So let's jump to number 9, which
Okay.
is the Tesla Model Y, which is 40,000, and you get 320 miles.
Which is still pretty good, but it's also going to be on the higher end to fill up. So you're looking at $45 a tank.
And your Volkswagen ID4, which is also 40,000, you get 250 miles.
Which still equates to about 18 cents to the mile. But what they don't tell you guys is you only get about 100,000 miles on the battery. So once you hit 100,000 mile mark, your batteries are going to go dead.
Yeah.
And then basically the batteries are the most expensive thing in the car. So it's not like you could just run down to a
go
little
to auto-
dealership and say, hey, I need all my batteries replaced. They're going to be like, okay, well, that'll be $25,000. So what are you going to do then?
And it also reads on there that at about 50,000 miles, you lose about 5% of battery. So that means that 5% of battery, how many miles is that going to be cutting off? And then it also says to be careful if you live in extreme heat climates or extreme cold climates, because that's going to affect your battery. So I can see, I understand the point of electric vehicle. People want electric vehicle, and I guess if you lived in the city in like a downtown area, and you don't venture out very far. You just ride around the metroplex. You don't go more than 20 miles from your house to go to work or go to the grocery store or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that would be
then
perfect.
That would be fine. We'd like riding a bike somewhere.
Moped.
But
Golf
for
cart.
people
Hey,
like
California,
us
Florida.
that drive all over the country, you're going to drive 100 miles, find somewhere to park, plug in, wait 2 hours, 3 hours, and then drive another 150 miles, find somewhere to plug in.
Hell, I have a hard enough time just finding a Love's truck stop between here and Denver. And I know where they all are because I stopped at all of them yesterday, just about coming in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, electric cars are practical for city people.
Yeah.
Let's just be quite honest with you, right?
Yeah.
You live in the city, like you drive, well, you drive like a fancy high dollar car, so you got to put premium fuel in.
Ew.
Ew.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, it is a foreign car, and
Tell
yes,
me.
it is expensive with the gas.
Didn't mean to call you out like that, but
You did. I feel attacked.
triggered. But if you do anything beside, literally, if you do anything beyond going down and having fake sushi, because that's you millennials do that, because you don't want to eat real meat, and then you might go to the farmer's market to buy some potatoes that have been untouched and their range found.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
I could see that would work great.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. I drive 45 miles to my office every day,
Mm-hmm.
one way. Half the time, I might have to jump in the truck and might have to run to Austin, Texas, or
Yeah.
I might have to run to Oklahoma City. That's just normal. I can't go, sorry guys, I can only go 110 miles and I got to wait 6 hours for my car to charge back up to get out there to help you guys out. So
It's not feasible.
It's not practical.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing that these people that are pushing this green energy, green whatever, that's fine if you want to do that. And the problem is, if you want to do it, that's fine for the people that want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't try to force everyone to do something because those like the people in Washington that live in Washington, they're right there. They don't go anywhere. They're all in the town. They do their Washington stuff there, and they're not out in real America.
So, okay, let's talk about. So their main goal is to get rid of oil, right? They don't want us to drill for oil. They don't want to use oil at all. They want to go completely green. I bet you if you ask 90% of these people, they can't tell you when oil was actually found and when the first combustible engine was actually invented and used.
They don't
So there's
have-
a 50-year difference. We were using oil, crude oil, for many, many, many things 50 years before they even invented the first combustible engine. Google that. Trust me. She's over there Googling. She's like, I'm going to look this one up. So, they don't realize everything that we touch every day that involves oil.
Yeah.
They just think it's green energy. No. It takes oil to create the energy to create the stuff for the green energy. Yeah. Right?
Have they seen a battery pit where they dig for to make your batteries? Have they seen that before? Do they know anything about that? Or they just know you go down to Walmart and buy a pack of batteries?
How do you think they dig up all that iron to create all these wind farms?
With an electric machine.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
proud of these people. Great. I understand they're do good for the environment, but these are also the idiots that think cows fart too much and it's ruining the ozone layer.
And
Let's
also
get realistic here.
And also, it's not the cow farts; it's the cow burps. It's the burps.
It's not the
burp-
flatulating, it's the
Yeah, it's the
burping.
burps that make the method, not the farts. But
You need to
people think
Google
it's
that
the
one
farts.
because
Yeah,
I
Google
think
that.
you're BSing on that one.
No, it's burps.
Which is more dangerous, a cow flatulent or a cow? What would be burping?
It's the cow
considered?
burp. It's the cow burp.
Is it burp?
Yeah.
What's the politically correct term for burping?
Mouth fart.
No, it'd be mouth flatulating if you went that direction, but it still doesn't make sense. Our producer's slacking today. Her Google foo is not up to speed now. Oh, blame it on the
Can't see.
glasses.
She can't see anything. But yeah, it's like it's if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't force just like everything in politics. They find something that they want to do, and then they want to force everybody to do it. Don't force everybody to do it. If people want to do it, let them do it.
It's like the.
What? What'd you say? What happened?
She puts the glasses on. She looks more studious. Come on.
Stop. So when cows burp, they release bursts of gas that are full of methane. So yeah, no, it actually says that they're pretty bad, and they do
It's the-
actually contribute to greenhouse gases.
It's the burping, not the farting. But people push the farting because it sounds worse.
Wow.
So
Okay, getting technical, Pepper.
hey, I have cows.
I didn't
They burp.
realize that saying farting was being technical.
Well, that's another way that these media types, Washington types, throw
But it
push
does
their
add
agenda.
to the ozone.
Yeah.
So poor Betsy the cow, which we need to call back and check and see how our cow's doing in California. She is contributing right now to the deterioration of the ozone. So I'm surprised they haven't kicked her out of California yet. And they can't kill her because they're all vegans.
Well, yeah.
And you can't make what is it called? What's the burger, the non-meat burger called?
Impossible.
The Impossible, because they're impossible to eat? Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you want to eat those, go right ahead. More power to you.
More power to you.
Eat what you want to eat. Marry who you want to marry. Do what you want to do. Just be consenting about what you're doing and have a good time.
So, moving on, I heard you got to do a very interesting interview.
I did.
Anything good?
Maybe.
Maybe.
So what does our timeline look like over there? Are we about to do some music stuff? Are we going to? Are we gonna run into? They hadn't zoomed back in yet, or zoomed in yet? Because I've got some cow stuff here about cow ear tags and goat ear tags, the new requirements for record keeping for the IDs and what's required when you go to the sale to be on your cows. The sheep and goat identification record keeping requirements with the RFID tags, ear tags. If you are a goat, I'll just throw it out there right quick because I don't have to read all this. If you raise sheep and goats or you raise cattle and you want some of these RFID tags to put on your cattle, much like you used the metal bands, when they put the metal bands on the cows, anything over 18 months when it's sold, so it can be tracked to where it came from. They're trying to move away from the metal tags to go with these newer tags. And if you will call down to the local state department here in Texas, the Texas Animal Health Commission, reach out to them and they will mail you some free tags to get you started. You can get 100, the USDA will provide you with up to 100 plastic flock ID tags. And the cattle will also send you some too. And they will let you know.
If you want that phone number, it's 512-719-0733. And their email is animal_ID@tahc.texas.gov. Man, we're just like a plethora of information today.
We are.
I just wanted to say that word.
You know some more plethora of information? I am the plethora? A plethora?
El guapo.
Of information? USDA, the USDA, Farm Service Agency, I am the third chair in the Hunt County District of the USDA, so I can help you out with that, possibly. Let's do, while we're waiting on some stuff, let's jump in and throw out what happened. Yeah, let's do that. Let's throw a tune out for you and then come back and talk to Jarrod Birmingham about some tunes.
Well, I'm a-going and I'm blowing and I'm heading down the road and I'm trying to make a living rodeoing. I've been driving all night, need the pale moonlight, waiting for the sun to start showing. I got too many miles and not enough time, but I'm gonna make it just the same. It's a mighty tough life, but I like it all right. You know I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been drinking that old black coffee till it tastes like turpentine. And I've heard every song on the Bill Mack show, heard it 50 times. And a little green man on a motorcycle passed a little while ago. Well, I could sure use some sleep, but I gotta keep heading on down the road. Let's go. Well, let's drive up, get out, and get on another one, and boy, you better win. 'Cause the money's getting tight and the banker gets mad when those hot checks start rolling in. Well, ain't life great on the interstate? Looking out for Smokey the Bear. Getting high on caffeine in Copenhagen, breathing that cool night air. Well, I'm a-going and I'm blowing and I'm heading down the road and I'm trying to make a living rodeoing. I've been driving all night, needing pale moonlight, waiting for the sun to start showing. I got too many miles and not enough time, but I'm gonna make it just the same. It's a mighty tough life, but I like it all right. You know I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a mighty tough life, but I like it all right.
All right, how about that tune from Jarrod Birmingham, and we got him right here with us. What is going on?
What's up, Pepper?
What you up to today?
Oh, just ranching. You know.
That's all you can do, right?
No, I'm really concerned about the cow that was getting corralled out in California right now. I want to know what.
I like-
Evidently, he can't just run get a bag of cubes.
Well, I know. Just throw some cubes out, track, run it on back up to the wherever it came from. I guess they're probably still chasing it.
I guarantee they're still chasing. He was going the other way.
Oh, yeah.
She did say the cow was very smart. So
Yeah. It knew what it was doing.
just
Knew what
saying.
it was doing. All right, so let's talk about some music and let's talk about your background, a little bit about your background. So, growing up and music, how'd that come together?
My grandpa played fiddle. I come from a long line of fiddle players. Actually, I kind of blew it. I can dig on one a little bit, but I came from fiddle players and family gatherings, and then I rodeoed my whole life, and kind of got into music by kind of like the Chris Ledoux story. It's strange. 17 years yesterday, Chris passed away, but kind of that same line. I would end up at the end of it. I'd do the national anthem. I'd ride in rodeo and play dance afterwards. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how that went.
There you go. Get your fees covered.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes.
Sometimes. All right. So, playing. Where's some of the places that you've been that you're really looking, forward to playing to, and where's some places that you'd like to play some songs at?
Well, I've been doing this 25 years, so I've played pretty much everywhere I'm probably going to play. I've done all the big ones, the Billy Bobs, and played all over Europe, all over the United States. So I think now I'm just I'm kind of just having fun with it. I'm not really. Let's get something on the radio. Let's don't do this. I could just go do what I want to do. It's kind of a semi-retirement type thing, I guess.
Okay. And the songs you play, those come from you write some, you cover some. How does that go?
Oh, I'm a writer. I've had publishing deals in Nashville and record deals and a number of things, but I'm a writer, number one. This new record, this Short Go record, was a record that I wanted to do for about 20 years, and mainly because I like the title. If you can make a record called The Short Go,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
let's do it. And so I just did kind of a collection of my favorite cowboy and rodeo songs.
Okay. All right. And is your rodeo songs? You got some that come from your rodeo days?
Oh yeah, there's a couple on that album, and as a writer, there's a song on that album called "Holding On" that I wrote, and that's kind of, I'm a writer first, and then everything else kind of rolls in after it.
Okay. All right. So what part of the country are you staying in now?
I'm around Victoria, Texas.
Oh, that's Texas, the best country in the world, right?
Close. I don't know. A little bit further, about Beeville. That's good
Yeah.
cattle country there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So getting up and going far. That's down south. You got a long way to get to Oklahoma.
Yeah, we were there. We played a Choctaw 2 weeks ago and drove right through. But we'll make the run every once in a while, but not as often as I used to.
With all the stuff going on the last couple of years or so, did that kind of hamper your music a little bit, or are you just doing some streaming stuff, or how'd that go?
No, I really didn't do a lot of streaming stuff. We did some a couple of in studio streams, but we the dance halls in Texas pretty much stayed open here and there, and I mean, it hurt everybody, but it wasn't something that, like, for instance, some of my friends, Cody Johnson, you're playing stadiums. You can't obviously play stadiums,
Yeah.
but you can play dance halls because communities are a little our standards are a little different,
Yeah.
A nice way to say it.
Right,
And
right.
so, I mean, of course it was bad, but it you know, I don't think it hit me like it did a lot of those people.
Yeah. Is there a stadium or a venue that you haven't played yet that you've got dead set on? You've got this one spot you want to get to.
I mean, as a guy who rodeoed, and my favorite times are always going back and playing the rodeos that I or participated in, you know, and I mean, you'd always want to play the Houston rodeo. I mean, that's just I think it's you know, it's the largest rodeo in the world, but it's also if you're picked out of those days, you know, you're doing pretty well. So, but when I was rodeoing, I remember I'm kind of known as Brian Herman's brother-in-law. I'm Pee Wee's brother-in-law. That was my claim to fame. But we were standing on the back of the chutes in Houston when it was still in the Astrodome, and I looked up and I said, "God, I'd love to play this someday." And spring forward a number of years, I actually got to be the last entertainer that played in the Astrodome as part of the Houston Rodeo, but they were already having the rodeo inside the Reliant, you know, but they had a hideout concert, and I was the last one to get to do that. So God heard my prayer, and he answered it, you know. Other than that, I really have played everywhere. I would love to do that. I'd love to do Cheyenne too, you know, a number of those rodeos, but as far as venues, I've done most of them.
Yeah. All right. So with your new record out and things, and the folks want to download that or pick one of those up, where would we send them to?
Oh, JarrodBirmingham.com or any of the social media, Jarrod Birmingham. It's strange. When you said it, it's one of the first times someone's asked where you can't say, "Oh, all the markets like Walmart." And no, not anymore. There's no CDs. It's all download. So,
Yeah.
You know, iTunes, all that. Obviously, I'm on there.
Okay. All right. Well, Jarrod, man, we'll send them that way, and we know you're busy, and we appreciate you visiting with
All
us
right,
and,
well, y'all
talking
check
about
on that
music.
cow.
Yeah, we're
Y'all
gonna see where
check
that
on
cow
that
went.
cow.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You know what? Jarrett brought up a really good thing. There is more breaking news.
What?
Breaking news. So Jarrett's talking about he wanted to play Cheyenne. Cheyenne just announced their music lineup for this year's rodeo.
Okay.
Jason Aldean, Dirk Brentley, Park McCollum, Kid Rock, Sam Hunt, Brooks and Dunn, Nelly, and Ian Musick.
What?
Nelly. Hey, Nelly puts on a pretty good show, but not as good as Kid Rock does.
Do they both wear Air Force Ones?
Probably. I don't know. Last year was going to be kind of hard to top, especially when we had, what's his name? Cody Johnson.
Yeah.
Cody Johnson put on and I'll say it, Cody Johnson put on a hell of a show. And I was like, had really great tickets
Yeah.
right there at the stage. And I think it was Flint was there. A couple of directors were there. Of course, my wife Michelle was there, and then a few other people. But we literally was sitting there just staring up at him like the entire concert, and he put on just a hell of a show. And I hate concerts. I really hate going because people and all that stuff. But I sucked it up, and it was worth going.
There you go. I was at a concert the other day at the downtown, right down the road from here. At the last time I was there, I was on a horse doing a horse show competition thing, but they had a concert in there, not the Cotton Bowl, but next to it, where they have the fair, the Coliseum. I was at a concert over there the other day.
Really?
Yeah. It was a weird concert. I was slept through it, but I was
What
there.
kind of concert was it?
There was like two or three people that played songs, and they're from one of the bands was from Sweden. One of the bands
I know there's a
was
joke. Where are we going with this?
One of the
man?
bands from Denmark. I think one was called like Twin Temples.
And the other one's called ABBA.
One was called. There was one that was like some ghost.
Typo negative.
I don't know. And then this other band.
Did you? You're shaking your head over there. Hey, there's nothing wrong with typo negative, all right?
This other band called, I forget what the other band was called that played in the middle, but they were actually better than the other ones that were there. But what was so funny is I was live streaming, and the first band that came up was called Twin Temples, and they played like 50s type music or whatever.
Okay.
But it was crazy because the girl walks out on stage and tells all the people, repeat after me, and she says, "Hail Satan," like 3 times. And I'm just laughing in the video and looking around. I'm like, where am I at? What is going on here? Are they going to sacrifice a goat or something on stage in a minute? What is this? And then after about the time the second band came up, I wanted to sleep. I was tired. Like, that's enough of this. I go to sleep. Wake me up when it's over. But it was it was interesting. You get 2 drinks for $32 if you were thirsty.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they were foreign bands. And nice to sleep to. What else we got? SpaceX did something? What'd they do?
SpaceX, no? Well, so we already know about this whole war going on over there, right?
You can't say that word, I thought.
War?
Yeah. Didn't they say you get arrested if you say the word?
Yeah, I'm glad we live in America. But so in the world of social media, of course, like Twitter. So I guess Ukraine tweeted, is that right? Tweeted, whatever.
Twerked.
Elon Musk
Yeah.
and said, "Yo, Elon, hook a brother up.
Yeah.
Give us some of that free internet satellite you got there because Putin is cutting all the internet off." And Elon said, "Hell yeah, brother, I got your back.
Yeah.
Peace to my Ukrainian brothers," right?
Yeah. There you go.
And he turned a bunch of satellites on to give them free internet so they can communicate.
Yeah.
So now SpaceX, which is Elon Musk, right? They just launched another 48 Starlink satellites to help out the Ukrainians, which I think is just freaking awesome, to be honest with you. He literally is like the real life Tony Stark without the cool outfit, right? The billionaire dude that does all kinds of crazy stuff. So the company's Falcon 9 rocket lifted off as planned at 8:45 a.m. Eastern into a mostly blue sky out of Cape Canaveral, which is, you ever been to Cape Canaveral?
Is that Florida or Houston?
Florida.
No.
No. We watched a couple of launches out of Florida. It's pretty neat.
I seen one blow up one time.
Seen 2 of them.
Blow up. Yeah, one blew up over here, and then one blew up over there, and there was like I remember when that happened. And I didn't really understand it at the time at the school because there was a teacher that was on one of the planes that blew up,
Yep.
and they said she had dandruff. I
I
didn't get
thought-
that. I was like, well, how would they know? And then when they told me, I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. Okay, so what happened?
Yeah, that's kind of like they switched to Pepsi because they couldn't get 7-Up.
Oh
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'll see myself out. Okay. Go ahead. So, this is interesting here. When they launched it, you know how they always say something very like positive and whatnot when they're doing the countdown. Okay, this one has said, "Time to let the American broomstick fly and hear the sounds of freedom."
All right.
So I guess that's what we're calling it, the broomstick
Okay.
of freedom. There you go.
It's like a toothpick, Q-tip kind of.
Yeah, I
Looks
guess
like a
it could be.
Q-tip. See, there it is. Look at it, Q-tip.
Yeah, there it is.
Just a tip though.
No jokes. What else you got?
You know, I looked up those Starlink satellites they're sending up over there.
Mm-hmm.
You can get one of those. You can buy internet for your house through that Starlink site server he has.
Really?
It's $100 a month, and you can get his internet service. It's a who? I don't know what that means, but
A gig.
A gig. It's basically a crap ton of internet.
It's a gig. It's a lot.
okay.
Because you're only getting, you're probably only getting what, 200 on the top side, 200 megabytes
Yeah.
a second.
That's actually what we get here.
It's like 200
So,
megabytes.
yeah.
That runs videos, what
maybe
you
I
see streaming.
Maybe I should get that because
It's almost like fiber to the home running that
And
fast.
like
a gig.
people up in like Wyoming and like rural places,
I need that because we have trouble watching streaming cervix at the house.
Hey, Elon Musk,
I need to get that.
you better
I'm
go
thinking
do
the same
it.
thing because I live out in the country as well.
What I'm thinking about is Denver, Colorado. Weren't you just in Colorado?
Yep. Like
Well,
24
so
hours ago.
Okay, so did you pick up a box?
I did not pick up this box.
Are you sure?
I'm
You were just there.
extremely sure that I did not pick this box up because
Were you trying to get ahead or something?
I'd be ahead of the rest.
All right, here we go. A thief broke into a freight truck in Denver this week and made out with a box of some special cargo. According to the release from Denver Police Department, the truck was parked in East Denver when someone broke in sometime between 2 p.m. Wednesday and 9 a.m. on Thursday. The unknown suspect stole a dolly and a box labeled exempt human specimen.
Now, my question is right now, who would leave a box full of human heads
What?
in a truck for 15 hours?
It was probably a refrigerated truck. And maybe, in the 2020 America, you have electronic logs. And maybe he drove too long, had to park his truck because he didn't have any more hours in the day to drive because the little box told him to. So he had to park his refrigerated truck and wait for his hours to reset the next day. And then someone broke in and stole the box of human heads that were meant for medical research. The box also bore a Science Care label. Science Care is the program for donating bodies to science for research and educational purposes. At this point, no arrests have been made, and the investigators are working to gather more information to recover the stolen human remains. If you happen to find a box of heads somewhere, or a head somewhere, that's discarded or abandoned, the authorities want you to call the Denver Police Department.
There's a lot of jokes in there, but I promised my wife I wouldn't go keeping it clean, because that's how I roll. Because I'm worried about another network getting mad and sending us a dirty letter. But anyways, that's all.
Heads will roll, man. Heads will roll. What else we got? Speaking of a network, there's also another network on the interweb net that I've been in talks with that's possibly going to pick up the show as well.
Uh-oh.
So we'll see what happens with that. I've had a few different discussions with them, and we'll see how that goes. We may be announcing or not announcing.
I don't know. I'm going to pull a Howard Stern on that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, nope. I need $500 million.
.com.
And she needs to come too, because we got to have her. 'Cause who's going to Google food stuff for us? Because it's unprofessional to have a laptop out in front of you.
Yeah.
Not that
That's
we don't
old.
have two like cell phones on.
That's
the
old
desk.
school. Old school. Although I did used to like using my laptop in the old days because I had all my soundboards on there, and that was always
God,
fun.
I remember that. We had to wear the earplug.
Yeah.
Now we're going back. See, we're going back like
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
There's
The
been
good
like
old days.
kids born, like multiple kids born since then.
It's never even seen the show. Probably a good idea. They haven't.
Well, I don't know. It's like Meowscato.
Yeah. That's floating
I thought
around
that
on TikTok.
The Meowscato.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
floating around on TikTok.
We had some good. We had some good bets back then too.
Yep.
Oh, the old
let's-
times.
I tell you what, let's look in on some more cows and see what's going on in Georgia. I think we have another cow video.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's breaking news or not, but I know we
Yeah,
got,
it's the update from Betsy.
oh, it's the
We
update.
got the update from Betsy. Lay it out there.
It's probably dark over there by now, isn't it?
You would think it is.
Probably nighttime. Well, let's see. Let's check back in and see what's going on with the
So what we got for
cow
Betsy?
on the loose.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
That was good until that cow licked at the door ring
Yeah,
bell.
the cow's licking the bell. Oh, so we didn't get to everything today, but that's what happens. That's how we do sometimes. We're going to talk about Pamela Anderson's got her story coming up on Netflix. If you were a fan of Pamela Anderson over the years, then you can check that out. It's coming up on a Netflix documentary. She's going to tell her story. The cows escaped, but let's let's run out of here with this because everybody's wearing me out about the Taylor Sheridan stuff. If you wanted to catch the interview with Eric Nelson from 1883, jump on YouTube at Pepper Stewart TV or Daily Motion Pepper Stewart TV and click on it. You can watch it, or it's on the podcast too. It's podcasted, so you can listen to any of the podcast links that you listen to. Find Pepper Stewart Show, and you can listen to the interview with Eric Nelson. It's pretty entertaining. I think you'll like it. You even hear my chickens in the background. But let's check out what Taylor Sheridan's got going on. Since 1883 does not have a second season coming up, but he has got a lot of stuff in the works. So check this out.
Story of where the Dutton family came from. Okay, how do we reinvent the wheel again? What's the next thing we want to do? You know, we're in an interesting time in scripted drama in TV because everyone is attempting to find this new way in to tell a story. And I've done it with all my shows where I looked at a forgotten part of the American experience.
Taylor is an extraordinary writer.
I love Taylor's writing. There's an intensity to it. There's a urgency to it.
We have a lot of trust and love for each other as artists, so a lot of good things can happen from that.
With Yellowstone, I had built out this backstory of where the Dutton family came from. And with 1932, I chose that moment in time to peek back in because you're seeing the children we've met in 1883 now attempting to raise another generation of Dutton at a time of the Wild West becoming a playground for the elite from the East. And as far as Bass Reeves goes, that's a parallel world. The 1880s, Bass Reeves, who's the first African-American marshal west of the Mississippi, policing the entire Oklahoma territories. When I'm casting, I'm seeking the great actors of our generation, and David Oyelowo is a once-a-generation talent.
To look at a character like Bass Reeves, I mean, this is the guy the Lone Ranger was based on, who got whitewashed out of history. And I just can't wait to get on that horse and tell this story.
I want to go get movie stars. An opportunity to work with someone like Stallone, it just follows this model.
The Tulsa King is a very interesting story. He's a lifetime gangster. He took the fall for his bosses and went to prison for 25 years, kept his mouth shut, and now he comes out. Next thing you know, he's in Tulsa. So he has to now start a new life, create a gang, because they want him to be an earner, and that's when the fun begins.
What I try to do is peek as authentically into a world as I can. Lioness is an actual program between the CIA and Special Forces that truly no one knows about. Nicole Kidman came to this project very early on once I'd written the pilot and was so moved by it, she wanted to be involved as a producer. We have cast Zoe Saldana, and this is a deep dive in the way with which espionage and the military have blurred. I love to explore the richest, most invigorating stories, and I just want to work with those people who I've admired. And with Landman, I developed that for Billy Bob Thornton. He's a crisis manager for an oil company.
It's about the world of the oil business that we generally don't see. When you see writing that good, it really excites you.
I want to continue to make long-form films that we're showing in 1-hour increments. Paramount had the same vision that I did. They're recognizing that what we're creating is special, and they're giving us the resources to do it. And that's a great partner.
So inside the brain of Taylor Sheridan, there's a lot of stories.
There's a lot up in that head of his.
A lot of stories, and it's. I think I've said it before when I was out there on 1883, watching him out there directing and blowing and going and doing stuff, and then seeing the finished product. He's got a talent for storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of storytelling, the Rodeo Cowboy alumni is having their event March 26th in Fort Worth. You don't have to be a member to go to the event. It's a good idea to get a hold of them ahead of time and prepay for your plate of food. For $40, you get a big plate of barbecue and all the trimmings. There's also going to be an auction, a lot of auction items there, because they raise money for scholarship funds. So they donate scholarships to rodeo youth, and it's filled with mostly former rodeo athletes, some current, and it's always a good time to go hang out with those guys and eat some barbecue, swap some stories, and chit chat. Did you know that the Daily Wire now has movies?
Is it really?
The Daily Wire.
I did not know that.
We're from a news organization to produce some movies, and they've got a movie they put out called Terror on the Prairie.
Terror on the Prairie.
And they sent us the sneak peek of Terror on the Prairie. It stars Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
She was in that Star Wars movie, and then something happened and they kicked her off of it.
Some hot chick.
So she's going to be there. And the Daily Wire plans to continue to produce content for everyone without an agenda. So by joining Daily Wire, your membership makes their content possible. So check out this little Cleaser tip, and then we got to go home.
Yay.
I'm gonna pack the wagon and take our children out of this godforsaken place.
You move. Die.
What do you want?
Your sins have found you out. And now they are visited upon your whole family.